Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our podcast today. These podcasts are brought to you in part by our sponsors, who really truly are what make these podcasts possible every week. O'Fallon Nutrition is a company that I've worked with for over 15 years. They're independently owned and operated, located here in O'Fallon, Missouri, right off of Highway K and Mexico Road. I call this place the Whole Foods of St. Charles County, but even if you are not located on this side of the river, it is still worth the drive. I can remember working all the way down at Powerhouse and still sending people out to O'Fallon Nutrition for their supplements. They are more than a supplement company. You can get grass-fed beef, salad dressing, seasoning for your cooking, hair care products, makeup, deodorant, toothpaste, essential oils, and all the vitamins and minerals that you can think of. If you're looking for clean, whole food nutrition, as well as home care, house care, skincare products, O'Fallon Nutrition is your place. You can take a look at them at o'fallonnutrition.com, or if you'd like to have something shipped, if you're listening to me from outside of St. Louis, you can certainly have items shipped. I know they do free shipping if it's an order over $50, and the phone number is 636-240-5283. Again, it's o'fallonnutrition.com. As well as if preparing your food on a weekly basis is your primary excuse for why you're not able to stay on a good, clean eating program, which is something that I hear very regularly from my clients, I would ask you to please take the time to check out Pure Plates. It's pureplatesstl.com. They are a phenomenal place. We get our food from there during the week. They deliver to our Integrity location. They will deliver to your house. They also are just available for pickup. You can go to their Chesterfield location or their Kirkwood location and just pick up meals for the day, as well as just having them delivered right to your door. So if preparing your food is your main excuse for why you cannot stay on a healthy eating program, then I would suggest just stop by Pure Plates. Just try it. If you're trying to lower your blood pressure, you're trying to lower your cholesterol, you're trying to get your blood sugar down, try to do Pure Plates meals for a week and just see how different you feel. These are organic meals. They are gluten-free. If you need them to be, they can be dairy-free. They are soy-free. You're not taking any processed sugars or meat-curing agents or preservatives. They really, truly believe in nutrient-dense meals that are just whole food nutrition. And I've had my clients, or I've made recommendations for my clients for years at Pure Plates. It's pureplatesstl.com, or you can call them to ask questions at 636-778-3555. Again, remembering that they have a location in Chesterfield as well as in Kirkwood that you can just run by and pick up a meal today. Everyone always asks me where I get my meat from, and given that I really eat meat on a daily basis, typically beef primarily, my meat is very important to me. I have an autoimmune condition and I want grain-free, corn-free meat, and I just haven't found the confidence in stores in knowing that I'm getting 100% grass-fed, grass-finished beef. And I have searched and searched and searched for the right farm, and I have found the farm. It's fedfromthefarm.com, fed, F-E-D, from thefarm.com. These farmers are amazing. It's a family. They're here in Missouri, and they have the desire, just like I do, to see people well and to see people healthy, and they put a lot into what they do. It's such a wonderful family to support. They do offer 100% grass-finished, grass-fed, meaning that's it. A beef, and I get my ribeyes, I get my ground beef, my ground sirloin, I get my chuck roast. I mean, they basically have everything. They even have awesome jerky, but they also have eggs, they have chickens, and they have turkey. I'm planning on getting a turkey for Thanksgiving, and if you'd like lamb, they have that as well. But if you are in need of good quality grass-fed, grass-finished beef, or quality eggs, chicken, turkey, don't just settle for what you're getting at the local store. to go out on the internet and check out Fed from the Farm. That you can arrange a pickup or you can have it delivered to your home. And I can guarantee you're going to taste the difference. For me, my health actually depends on it. So I really thank God to have found such a great farmer. Fedfromthefarm.com. I hope it blesses you.
Welcome to Faith, Fuel, and Fitness, the Integrity Way, with your hosts, John and Debbie Morris from Integrity Training Systems.
Hey everybody, this is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. We always like to start our show by talking about what it means to be a warrior. And a warrior is described as a brave or experienced soldier or fighter. And you don't have to be brave and you don't have to be a member of the armed forces or a soldier to be a fighter. You just have to be experienced. To be a warrior, you have to be experienced and be a fighter. And what that means is that you've done something and you've overcome it. So at any point in time in your life, if you've had a tough moment and you've gone through it, then you are experienced and you are a fighter, and that makes you a warrior. And why is it important to be a warrior? Well, warriors don't give up. So if you can put yourself in a mindset that you're a warrior, instead of walking around saying, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I'm too tired, I'm too sick, I just can't overcome this, then you actually stand a chance to push through whatever it is that you're dealing with, because you just have to acknowledge that you are willing and capable of fighting through it. Deb, what do you have today that you'd like to talk about in regards to being a warrior?
Well, this weekend I spent time with our friend, her mom, who I know very well, who I consider my friend, was at the hospital, and she's always been so supportive of us and of our business. She's a prayer warrior. She, at a rather young age, contracted Parkinson's, basically early 60s when it started, just way too young. And it's altered her life significantly to the point to where she has to live in an assisted living home, and she does get to live in her own apartment within that facility. So she's not in a nursing home per se where she's being taken care of in a hospital bed, but she does have her own little apartment, which is really cute and very well kept. She does a wonderful job keeping it up, given her set of circumstances. But she, she struggles because she has Parkinson's, and it's just an unfair disease, especially considering she's probably one of the most faith-filled people I know, and so is her daughter, and that's why I love her daughter. Her daughter's my best friend, and I just can see where she gets it from. But I guess she fell last week and broke her arm, and so they immediately, rushed her to the emergency room, and they took her into surgery and put a pin in her arm. And what was great about that is that she doesn't have to wear a cast, which obviously with Parkinson's would be very complicated, very difficult, because she would be moving on a regular basis. And she was in the hospital, kind of taken to a room, but out of surgery, they medicated her so heavily that she just really felt fear. Like there was just a significant amount of fear. And so she was acting completely out of character. She's probably one of the most loving, kindest people I think I've ever known. The other night when we were at the hospital, I grabbed John. I said, John, before we leave, let's pray for her. And she just started praying for us. In her state, she just started praying for us and believing for breakthrough and all these crazy things. And so that kind of shows you the kind of person that we're dealing with. And so this medication is making her do things that she would just not normally do. And it was just really, really scary. And she was very scared. And the only time she felt comfortable was if one of her family members was right next to her, because she didn't trust any of the other people. So after about 2 days, she finally got a night's rest, which everybody knows if you don't sleep for 2 days, you're going to be a crazy person anyways, just because it makes you that way. She just kept pressing through, even in spite of the difficulty, in spite of the pain, in spite of feeling incredibly fearful, in spite of being given heavy, heavy drugs that she should have probably never been given. She just kept pressing on. She just kept fighting strong, and her daughter kept doing the same, and her son kept doing the same, and everyone has rallied with her and really tried to help her. And last night. I guess the wrong meds came in again, and it was the worst she had been. So even though she'd gotten a restful night's sleep, she had a really calm day. It came in with a different medication on top of all the other medications, and it was the worst it had been. Her arm is now twice the size it was because she was moving around so much. And finally, her daughter refused to give up, even though the nursing staff said, "We're just going to keep doing what we're doing. And we'll get her through this," even though her daughter had told them over and over again, "No, this is out of character. This is not right. Something is wrong. She shouldn't be acting like this." And they were declaring her crazy. They're declaring her bipolar. They're declaring her all these things that were not even the case. She's never been this way. They're saying she's depressed. She's never been depressed. She's the person that walks around this facility that she lives in and ministers Jesus to people. So her daughter gave it one more shot, and she walked out into the hallway and said, "I want to talk to the doctor on this floor." And they basically tried to tell her that the doctor was too busy and that they couldn't get. And she said, I'm demanding to talk to the doctor." So when the doctor first came in, the doctor acted as if he or she didn't really even want to give her the time of day. And my friend had to basically make her listen to her. And she refused to give up on her mom. And she looked through every single medicine, and there was a medicine in there that was not supposed to be administered to her if she had Parkinson's. So it was exasperating all of her Parkinson's symptoms. Then on top of that, you have layers of what they thought was necessary, a psychotic drug, to calm her, and then all these pains. And it was a recipe for disaster for this poor woman. And honestly, I think if it just continued, I don't even know if she'd continue to be here, because I just don't know that her body would be able to withstand how complicated it was. But the reason I'm talking about it is because they just didn't give up. They played worship music the entire time. It almost makes me want to cry, but she sat by her mom's bed and she sang the worship music to her over and over again, the same 3 verses over and over and over again. And it was the only calm that her mom would feel was when she would hear these verses. And her daughter just refused to give up. And the thing is that I can guarantee that there are so many of you out there listening, and you might not be in the hospital. You may not have that serious of a situation, but you might be struggling financially. You might be struggling with your health. You might be struggling in your relationship. You might be struggling with your brain. But there is a faithful God, and he will be there for you. He will not leave you. He will not forsake you. He is your firm foundation. He is the rock on which you stand, and you can have joy in chaos because of him. So if you submit yourself to him and truly rely on him, your strength will come from him. And the Bible says, "The joy of the Lord is my strength." And in the most challenging circumstances, I have taken that scripture and I've told myself, the joy of the Lord. Debbie, no matter how difficult the situation is, find the joy of the Lord. Whether you're in an emergency room, whether you're at home all alone, whether you are in the midst of a bunch of people that are coming against you, the joy of the Lord is your strength. And what you can always fall back on is that that's truly why we're here. We're not here to warrior up so we can buy a new house, so we can buy new cars, so we can buy new this, so we can do this, so we can go to this next level, so we can always keep growing. We're here to warrior because there are people that don't know Jesus, and we have got to get them on that track. We have got to connect with them. And I know that my friend has ministered in the hospital, and her mom has ministered to people in the hospital, and they're going to continue to do so. But I'm just so grateful for their faith and their just unwavering desire to continue to live and to continue to inspire other people in the midst of such incredibly challenging, difficult scenarios. And they've walked in love. They have been kind. They have been considerate, and they have been frank. Something needs to change. Something has to change. We can't continue to go this way. I want you to demand the same for yourself, whatever your circumstances. I want you to go to the Word, and I want you to declare it over your situation, and I want you to demand change, and I want you to believe in your heart that it is possible for you to receive that change. Even though you think you might be in your darkest hour, there is light. The Bible says that He is a lamp unto your feet and a light unto your path. What that means is that you only have to worry about those next few steps because He's going to light them up for you. Don't look too far ahead because He is with you and He is going to guide you every step of the way. For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems for a 6-month nutrition program with myself, my online Q&A subscription program, or a personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. Debbie just kind of talked about a situation with a friend of ours and what she's been going through and never giving up. And I think an important part about never giving up is just being willing to stand on business. I think there's a lot of people that think, never giving up just means staying in the grind. Like, oh, okay, well, I do my 9 to 5, so that's, that's not giving up, right? And it's like, no, that's the bare minimum. That's showing up, which is good, but never giving up means attempting to press forward and get to a better spot. And I think when I say stand on business, I mean, you have to be willing to stand up for what you believe in. You have to be willing to stand up for what your moral code is. You have to be willing to be integritous. Like, a lot of people talk about integrity and they say, well, you want to be how you are in front of people as you are behind closed doors. Well, that goes both ways. There's a lot of tough people that stand for what they believe in and behind closed doors, but then they roll over when they're open. So you got to think about that both ways. You got to be the same person that you are at home as you are out front. If you're getting pissed off and sitting at home and not getting stuff done, then go out in the real world and get it done. And so, so many people talk about being stuck where they are and they talk about wanting to be somewhere different. We are in the industry of health and wellness and fitness. And if you're sitting around right now thinking, I don't want to be where I am, well, what are you doing about it? I got a client that I was talking to recently, and I went pretty hard on her. And I just told her, I was like, it's not my job to make you feel okay about what you're doing. In fact, I'd be robbing you if I told you what you're doing is okay. You have to be willing to listen to me and let me call you out because you're paying me to do that. You want me to make you better, right? And the reality is, if you tell me you're trying and you can't tell me what you're implementing to move forward, then you're not trying, you're just talking about it. And that's something that I had to go over with my daughter a couple months ago too, is she was talking about trying to getting back to doing something she had been doing every day up until about a month before she just fell off doing it. Easy to fall off. But you're telling me I'm trying to get back to that. Okay, well, what are you trying to do? Have you set an alarm? Have you wrote down what you're going to do next? Have you figured out a time each day that you're going to plan to get that done? No. Have you implemented anything else? No. Okay, well, what are you doing to try? Well, I know I need to get back to it. Great. Knowing means you're thinking about it. That's not trying. But we convince ourselves that we're trying, and trying is a lie. You're either implementing something to move forward, you're building a new discipline or a protocol to do it, or you're just talking about it. And so I challenge you, whether it's health, wellness, fitness, getting a new job, fixing your relationship, that's another one. People talk about wanting to have a better relationship. Like, I just want to have a better relationship. Well, what are you doing about it? You waiting for your spouse to do something more positive for you? Are you reading books about having a better marriage? Are you going and humbling yourself and apologizing for your part of the problem? Like, what are you actually doing to make yourself stronger and better in every scenario and situation of your life? And I'm getting ready to talk about this at my men's group, which is actually today. It's Saturday, and it's from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the gym, and we work out for an hour, and then we talk for an hour. And I'm starting a series. Up until now, it's not been a series. It's what God has put on my heart each individual time. Well, God slapped me in the heart with this, and so this is coming, and it's talking about the armor of God. Everybody knows about the armor of God. Non-Christians know about the armor of God. Satan is very familiar with the armor of God. I have it tattooed on my arm, okay? But do you know what each individual piece is? We talked about this. It was either the last show or the show before that. Like, do you know what each individual piece is? Okay, you can recite the pieces. That's great. Do you know what they're used for? Okay, maybe I'm gonna tell you right now. Like, if you're in that group, you're in the 10%. If you can tell me what each piece is used for. Now, let me get into the 1%ers. Do you know what it takes to put each piece on every morning? Are you actually thinking about it? Because here's the thing: when I was a cop, when I woke up, I had to think about each part. When I go to the gym right now, when I get up in the morning, I go to work. I got to remember to put underwear on, socks, pants, a shirt, and get out the door. That's all I got to remember to put on, because I'm not going to war with my physical body. But when I was a cop, I had to put my pants on. I had to put my boots on, specific for the combat that I could end up in. I had a duty belt. I had to ensure that my duty belt had my firearm in it. It had my OC spray in it. It had my taser. It had my baton. It had my flashlight. It had my handcuffs. Then I had to put my body armor on. And I had to put a shirt on over that with a belt and my badge and my name tag. And then I had to ensure that it was all put together appropriately. Then I had to make sure I had my bag with all of my extras, my additional ammunition, everything else that was going to go with me for the day. Because if I didn't look at each individual part every morning, there was a chance I was going to show up to work and I wasn't going to have that. And I'm going to tell you right now, you get caught without any of that out in the streets, you're in trouble. And so you're thinking about this spiritual warfare on a daily basis. You're thinking about showing up. You're thinking about wanting to be able to take on your daily life. But you say, yeah, I'm going to put on the full armor of God and I'm ready for what the devil throws at me today. Okay, well, what is it? And how did you put it on? Are you in the scripture? Are you thinking about the things in your day yesterday and or at the end of your day that went wrong? The flaming darts that were thrown at you where you failed? Did you fail to be righteous today? Did you fail to stand on truth? Was your salvation brought in check? Were you afraid to walk the walk, even though you know you can talk the talk? Like, break down the pieces. Did you hold your shield up? Were you standing on faith? Were you behind the faith? Or were you living in fear? I mean, break the parts down. Well, yesterday I failed. I failed on my righteousness. I didn't humble myself. I was pissed off. I let the sun go down and I was mad about something. Great. Ask for forgiveness today and think about what you need to do to further equip yourself for that. And this is how you need to be living your life. This is my men's group. We're going to talk about the armor of God, and you need to be thinking about that. But you need to apply this to every aspect of your life. You want a new job? Have you even looked online? Did you build a resume? You want to be healthy? Quit talking about it. How long have you said that? Have you looked up online? Have you looked at my company? Have you looked at another company? Have you called and inquired? Have you actually shown up? We do a free fitness assessment. Come do that. Decide you don't like my place and go somewhere else. That's fine. But take those steps. You know, quit sitting around and waiting for someone to do it for you, because it's never going to happen. You have the ability to claim your future, and you have the ability to strengthen your resolve and strengthen yourself to stand on what you believe in so that you can get to where you want to go. And if you're not willing to do that, you're never going to make it anywhere other than where you are.
Amen. I agree. I often have people tell me, I just don't know how to get myself back on track. You actually do know how to get yourself back on track, because you were on track before. So when you're telling yourself you don't know how to get yourself back on track, or you just can't seem to get yourself back on track, that's a lie, because you know what it takes, but now you have to make it a priority and you have to do what it takes. You have to do the work. You have to pick up the groceries. You have to make the food. You have to schedule the workouts. You have to do what you did before that made it work, and then you do it again and again and again and again. And you deny yourself of some of those pleasures that you truly, truly want, and you go for the things that you truly, truly need. For more information on what we do at Integrity with a 6-month nutrition program with myself, or my online live Q&A subscription program, or a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com, or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. Just kind of got done hammering into a little bit about actually moving forward instead of just saying you're trying and how to get back on track. And Deb was mentioning there at the end that you'll get people that say, I just don't know what to do. And it's like, well, you do know what to do because you've been there before. But I also get people that say, well, I know what I need to do, and then they're not doing it. And it's like, no, obviously you don't. And what I'll tell you is those two actually run hand in hand with each other, because you may have done it before, but what you're failing to think about is that you did it with a coach. You did it with help. You did it in hand with other soldiers that could get into the ravine with you, or perhaps you did a nutrition plan or you had a fitness style and now it needs to evolve. So maybe you don't actually know what you need to do, but either way you did it with help. And sometimes there are things that you can't do on your own. But, we were talking about in the break, like, what is the mission? Like, what do you need to be doing to get back into getting to where you want to go? So just talk to us a little bit about that, Deb.
Well, like for our business, I've always tried to position things to where it was like, okay, what is our vision? What is our grand vision here? And, that's to probably just honor God in everything that we do, to help as many people transform their lives as possible, and to have a facility that's full of life and full of light. What is our mission? Our mission is transformation. Our mission is saving lives. Our mission is having a person walk through those doors and have the ability to completely change their life in every way, mind, body, and spirit. And so in order to accomplish that vision and serve that vision and to truly be led by the Holy Spirit and to truly be serving that mission, we have to have a set of core values. So for us, those core values are things like integrity, honesty, kindness, consideration, strength, perseverance, never giving up on a person, never getting frustrated, never giving up on them. That's my business, okay? But what I often minister to people with is, do you have that for yourself? Do you have that for your relationship? Do you have that for your own personal walk? Like, what's truly your vision for your future? What does that look like with your spouse? What does that look like with your family? We get Sophie involved in that. What does that truly look like? Now, what is the mission that we're serving? If you don't know, like if you're a soldier out on the battlefield, you don't actually know the mission. You're just strolling around on the battlefield. What in the world is going to happen? Who are you going to shoot? What are you going to do? You're going to get shot. So you have to know what mission you are serving, okay? Now, your core values, that's just your list of things that you undeniably always work at achieving on a daily basis. So in the case of your relationship, in the case of your business, in the case of just the rest of your life, you've got to say, am I walking in integrity? Is that a core value? As I make this decision today, am I walking in integrity? If perseverance is a core value, am I giving up too easily on myself and on this situation or on the others around me? If kindness, if consideration is a core value, was I kind? Was I present when I was around those people? Was I trying to be giving of myself? I think this is just as important to have this in your personal life, in your personal relationship, in your walk with the Lord, as it is to have it in business. And I think it could be game changing to truly have something that you know that you can acknowledge that you're actually truly serving. Like really just be able to identify, what is it that I'm truly serving? And what are the requirements on a daily basis to be able to continue to serve that? And like with what we were talking about before with, I've done it before. I know I need to do it. Or someone saying, I really am having a hard time getting back on track, but I've got to figure out how to do this on my own. I can't always have someone helping me. Are you doing that though? Are you figuring out how to do it on your own? Because how many pounds are you going to allow yourself to gain in the process of not figuring out how to do it on your own? How many points are you going to allow your cholesterol to go up in the process of figuring out how to do it on your own? All because you don't want to spend money, but you'll spend money on Six Flags. You'll spend money on a vacation. You'll spend money on toys for your kids. You'll spend money on junk food. You'll spend money on going to a bar, but you won't spend money on getting yourself back on track. I'd say work with a coach for the rest of your life if you need to. I mean, my husband lost 100 pounds and he has traumatic brain injury, and he had to have a coach help him lose that 100 pounds. For the past 12 years, my husband has come to me and consulted with me on his nutrition. How many times, John?
416.
Okay. So the reality is that, yes, he does have a built-in coach, but he also could potentially not humble himself and think, I've got this. I can figure this out. I don't need her help. No, he humbles himself and says, I don't have this figured out. If you need me to lift a refrigerator, Debbie, I can lift that, no problem, all by myself. But I don't have this figured out, and I do need your help because it's not my area of expertise, and I really need your help with the food, right? And so if you're the one that is at home and you're struggling and you can't figure out how to do it on your own and you've never hired a coach, come on, do it. Hire somebody. Get it figured out because it's going to change. Everything can change. Now, if you've hired a coach and you're not sticking with it and you've gained some weight back, get back to the coach and get yourself realigned. Who says in this one area of life that you have to do it all alone, that you have to figure this out all alone, and that you're some kind of failure if you don't figure it out all alone? I mean, when your kid's learning to read, do we hire them a coach? Yes, we do. We hire them a tutor. We hire them teachers. We do whatever we got to do to make sure that our kid can learn how to read. We took Sophie to Sullivan or something like that, learning centers. And we did that before she even went into preschool, because I wanted her going into preschool being able to learn better. And you know what? She went into preschool and she could read, but guess what? I still took her to a coach. I still took her to a tutor in preschool and in kindergarten because I wanted her to be exceptional. Have you even considered going back to the coach or just hiring the coach? Takes you out of mediocrity and it puts you into being exceptional. It sets you apart. Can you imagine what God can do with a person that is willing to be set apart? A person that is willing to be exceptional, a person that is willing to not make exceptions for bad ingredients, for bad foods, because they know it's going to be toxic. And even though everyone that's around them is telling them it's okay to drink it, it's okay to eat it. You know why they're telling you that? Because they want to eat it and drink it, and they don't want to feel bad about it. And when you come in and you don't eat it and drink it, it's like a mirror to them of what they shouldn't be doing, and they know it. They know it. All of the balance, all of the marketing ploys of, 80-20 and make sure that you can still get your junk food in. And, as long as it fits in your macros, none of these people are talking about the disease that's associated with those foods. They're also not talking about what is on the other side of obedience when you keep those toxins out of your body. What's on the other side of that? Success. Health at a level that you never even thought possible, mental clarity, a lack of pain in your body, a lack of bloating, a lack of skin issues, a lack of allergies, no need for blood pressure medication, no need for metformin, no need for glipizide, no need for an anti-inflammatory drug that's killing your liver and killing your kidneys, no need for an allergy shot, no need for allergies every single day because you've lowered your histamine levels because you're no longer taking in foods that build those histamine levels. all of this is on the other side of your obedience of serving a higher calling and in a higher position for your health. I mean, it demands a person that's willing to say, I'm tired of my life the way it is. I'm tired of feeling sick and tired. And you get sick and tired of that enough, and you say, I'm going to do something different.
I think when it comes to our industry, the tough part is whether someone has done it before and been successful or they've just never done it. There's this like almost stigma, and I think it has to do a little bit with humility on the situation. I also think it has to do with a little bit of not wanting to be told what to do when we have something we want to do, such as eating poor food. But then the third thing is I think there's so much misinformation out there because of the difference in body types and people. And just people that exhibit, you can get away with things like you just said, the 80-20, 90-10 rule, and they look like Greek gods. So there's this assumption that they feel good, they're happy, healthy, and don't have any problems because they're doing it. And so I should be the same way. But regardless of which one of those someone falls into, it's always fascinating to me. Like people will talk about, not wanting to spend the money or I should be able to do it alone. And it's like, well, why do you spend the money on and not do alone going to your doctor? Like, why haven't you learned how to treat yourself or found herbal remedies and do your own concoctions, take care of yourself? Like, why do you continue to go get your oil changed and your tires changed at a mechanic? Why haven't you learned? It's on YouTube. Why haven't you learned how to change your oil, fix your engine, and rotate your tires by yourself? You can do that. I mean, it's out there. Why do you continue to pay anybody to do anything? It's not your expertise. It just because it's something that you can look up online or just because you know you're doing something wrong doesn't mean you know how to do it right. The problem that I find with a lot of people that aren't successful when they try to do it alone is it's not a matter of not trying. They actually do try. They go for a salad instead of a hamburger. They go for, they try to take dairy out. They go for, instead of having candy, they go for a protein bar. But then they end up too low calorie. They don't feel well, or the garbage that's in what they're bringing in makes them feel bad. Or they go to a restaurant and they get a salad and they put chicken on it, but the chicken's just as bad as if they had just gotten a cheeseburger from McDonald's. But they're trying. They're actually implementing procedures like I talked about a couple segments ago. They're really actually putting in the trying, and then they fail there. But then they still say, well, I know what I need to do, because they're referencing knowing they need to get off the garbage run, but they don't actually know what they need to do. So if you're finding yourself in that position, I just challenge you, like, look for an us. Of course, I would love to service you. It's why we do what we do. We have a passion to help people. Both Debbie and I are in this industry because we almost died. So, of course, I want you to come to us. But if you don't come to us, go find somebody. Find someone to help you. Don't stand in it alone and think you can do it just because the world tells you can or because they make it sound super easy. It's not. It's just a matter of having someone who can make it easier for you and help you in the process.
For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems with a 6-month nutrition program with myself, or my online live Q&A subscription program, or a free personal fitness assessment with a personal trainer, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. Just been kind of talking about how to, apply yourself in a situation to be an overcomer, We talk a lot each week about being a warrior, but I do think that this week we're getting a little more into kind of just breaking your comfort zone. I mean, we are in the health and wellness industry. We are a fitness center or a private personal training center with nutrition. It's always funny to listen to how people describe us. It's like you'll hear fitness center, you'll hear health and wellness, you'll hear people say life-changing center. It's interesting just to see how people perceive it. We're a 4,500 square foot facility that takes one-on-one training and nutrition very serious. We really do. It's like every single person that walks in there is a divine appointed person that we intend to help. And it's neat because my whole staff thinks like that, but not just the staff. So does everybody else there. So it's always cool when people will be gone for a little while and they come back and you listen to other clients. Man, where you been? Like, I haven't seen you in a while. Everything okay? Like, do you need help with anything? It's like, it's such a community, and those communities exist everywhere. I know that they exist in other facilities and other gyms, but I've been in other facilities and I've been in other gyms, and I can promise, it's not just a bias. There's something different. It's neat to watch people care about each other. It's neat to, I get clients that'll not even be my clients that'll come up to me and say, hey, your client so-and-so, like, how are they doing? Where have they been? When they're out sick for 3 weeks, or even just out of town on business for a couple weeks, And so that attention to detail says something about character. And so if you can surround yourself with like-minded individuals like that are looking to have the same sort of success as you, your ability to succeed goes up exponentially. So it's not just about thinking you know what you need to do and not just implementing it. It's about putting yourself into a place where your chance of success is so much greater. And what you surround yourself with is you're going to be a product of that. Like what you bring in, whether you're listening to it, seeing it, reading it, eating it, drinking it, you can only put out what you're bringing in. It's no different than a car. If you put garbage gasoline in a car, it's going to run like garbage. You can't run on something different than what you're bringing into your mind, your body, and your spirit. So if you're surrounding yourself with people that are constantly wanting to get drunk, do drugs, eat bad food, go out all the time, you can try to do well, but you're going to fail in that department, and I know that sounds harsh, but like the only person I know that was able to surround themselves with that type of behavior and walk away from it clean was Jesus. If you think, well, I'm going to help make them better, then, I mean, gosh, that's a tall order. Especially if it's more than one-on-one. If you're hanging out with a group thinking you're picking up an entire group instead of being brought down, that's tough. Even our daughter had a friend from a very young age, and I, feel terrible. But even when she was a little girl, I'm like, I do not like this kid. Like just the energy coming off of her and the way she acted, and she wouldn't look at me in the eye and she wouldn't really acknowledge me. It's like you could just see on her that it's like she knew I was looking right through her. And I'm talking about like a 9-year-old, and ultimately what ended up happening was, I guess it was 2 years ago, right? She decided that she was going to completely turn on Sophie, and she decided that she was going to make up lies about her and try to turn her other friends against her. And it was all lies. And that kid went to school with Sophie, and she ended up that same year not coming back to that school. And so Sophie talks about how, now that she's older, she talks about things that girl did. And it's just like, I knew I didn't like her, and Sophie's like, yeah, as we were getting older, she just started to kind of get into that stuff and act that way. And I just thought, I'm the only person that has access to her that believes the way I believe and is able to pour that into her. And I'm like, well, Soph, that's a very commendable act. And I'm so glad that you want to do that for people. But I was watching your attachment to her cause you to have some shifts. And so you were kind of chameleoning yourself into her. And sometimes we do that because we think we have to chameleon to someone to get them to feel like we're in it with them. And if you have to do that, then you're walking in real dangerous territory. If you really want to make someone better or help someone be better or assist them in overcoming something, you have to stand strong in who you are and do the things you know you need to do and live that out in front of them. And if they choose to feel judged by that, or they choose to not like you because of that, then I'm telling you, you're not going to be able to help that person. Because if you're bringing yourself down like, you know what, I'm just going to go to the bar and have a couple drinks with them because I know that's what they do. You know, I'm just going to take a couple puffs of the weed, even though I don't do that, because I want them to feel comfortable. Like, where does that stop? You're playing in their world and you think you're going to pick them up. You know, it's not just physically easier to drag someone down than it is to pull them up. That's spiritually, mentally, and emotionally too.
People have that happen with food all the time. They say, well, you know, I just felt bad, you know, not partaking in what everything that they were partaking in, or not, or just feeling like the odd man out, or I didn't want to, you know, hurt their feelings or whatever. But you got to stand for what you want in your body, and you got to stand for what you want in your health. And I also think that fellowship is a very strong thing. We do a Bible study where by video with two younger people, just because we're, you know, kind of ministering to them, and they end up ministering to us just as much as we're ministering to them, to be honest with you. And one of the guys last night said, yeah, you know, I he's moved to a different state, and he's like, my friends want to come and visit me, but they're just talking about wanting to come and party, and they want to come and, you know, go clubbing and doing all this stuff. And he was like, I just was bold, and I just told him, look, I've given my life to Jesus. Like, I don't want to do all those things anymore. Like, that's not who I am anymore. Like, if you want to come here and work out, if you want to come here and go to church with me, if you want to come here and go out to dinner with me, that's fine. But like, I'm not looking to do all those things. And at 20 years old, I felt like that was a pretty brave thing to say and to speak. And basically what he said is, they're not going to come because they don't want to do any of those things with me. Well, those probably are not the friends for you then. Those are probably God's opening other doors for you, and he's going to have the right friends for you. And this guy's confident enough that he can see that, which is amazing. But like, are even as adults, are we confident enough that we can see when God is closing a door or shutting a door to the wrong type of fellowship, but he's trying to open the door to the right? Like, being in a facility like ours, it's pretty game changing, because the reality of it is there is fellowship with like-minded individuals. And if that's what you're aspiring for, is better health, you've got to get yourself around better health, like people who genuinely live that out. I have an online community where I do two live Q&As. They're on Wednesday evenings, but it's all recorded. So you can go back to all my recordings for the past year and listen to them anytime. But this Q&A is pretty amazing. It's really detailed information. But what's cool about it is that it's all done in this special app called Circle. And there's this section on it that is a community. And so everyone that is part of the subscription is in this community. And we've had an 8-week challenge that we've been doing, where every week you have to pick 2 things that you're going to do. And everybody chimes in, and they post a picture of themselves, or they talk about, you know, hey, I got my water in, or I got my walk in, or I did this. And so they're all supporting each other from all over the country. They're all just supporting each other. They're fellowshipping. They're building each other. They're empowering each other. And this is a really inexpensive way of getting fitness and nutrition. And it's something that I do, but I'm just saying, find your way, find your formula to fellowship with like-minded individuals, because it's not something that you should be expected to figure out all on your own. You do need support. Even I, as a leader, even I as my own person, even I have someone that supports me with my food, and someone that supports me with my health endeavors. I have an amazing doctor, and I have a good coach. So everybody needs it. For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems with a 6-month nutrition program with myself, or my live Q&A subscription program, or a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com, or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door From my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com. Thank you so much for listening, and God bless.